morning and welcome, Patriot News Hour. Joe and Jason, happy Friday. Yeah, man, I know all these weeks they get tough. It's hotter than you know what out there, but welcome to the Valley of the Sun. We got great weather about half the year, and the other half, it's a little hot. Hopefully, most of you are able to get out of town and go somewhere where it's not as hot. For those of us that are left. What do we got? World Cup today. Team USA playing Australia. Well, I'll say this. 20-plus years ago, I don't think I'd ever be like, hey, soccer. Right? It's not quite. Well, you know what? I guess now, every 4 years, right? And that's if we even make the World Cup. We actually won a game, so now we'll see how it goes today. If that's your cup of tea, awesome. If not, sorry, right? You got baseball. That's about it, right? The NBA's over. Our youngest, as you guys know, he lives in Lower Manhattan. And his company, they gave everyone a half day so they could try to go to the parade. He got there 3 hours early and said, it was jam-packed. You couldn't see, and he's like, I'm just going to go watch it at home. But I guess, congratulations to the New York Knicks. I used to follow them back when Bernard King, remember that? Yeah, before Patrick Ewing went to Georgetown, so that was tougher. But anyway, all right, enough about sports. 800-951-0592. That is our toll-free number. allamericangold.com. That is our website. Of course, what do? The physical delivery of wealth insurance, gold and silver. We also do some crypto. By the way, we will be having a big opportunity for some people in Orem coming next week, so be prepared for that. If you had been to the Texit meetings today, call us today because obviously you get they have that special, right? For every seat you buy, they'll give you a free seat up to 9 seats. If you haven't already, let us know you want to take advantage of that. At least call us today and say you want to. They don't know who is at the meeting. Anyway, 800-951-0592 for whatever you want to do or whatever your needs are. So we heard from Kevin Warsh, right? This big, dramatic, yes, I'm going to crush the inflation. If you believe that, then don't buy gold and silver today. If you do not believe that, then call and buy today. The reason being gold has been down since that announcement. I think this is probably pretty close to it because I don't think you're going to see the Fed do anything until they revamp how they're going to change. They're going to change all the numbers. That was really what Kevin Warsh said at the meeting the other day. He really didn't say, I'm going to crush inflation and I'm going to raise rates. No. No. What he said was, hey, by the way, we're going to take and create task force because we just don't have good data. What? I mean, really, when you think about it, that's what he said. Hey, there's better tools. We're not using the best information. We're not using the best tools. Are you kidding me? You mean you need us to believe? Then maybe, you know what? Here's the thing. Either one of two things. He's full of crap, or he's actually telling the truth. Which is, I don't know which one's worse. Wait a minute. You mean to tell us that, oh, yeah, our data has sucked for a really long time, and they just did nothing about it? Or, hey, you know what? I need to tell you a story, because it actually, think about this, it's actually pretty brilliant. Because now he doesn't have to do anything. Because he can just go 6 weeks from now. Oh, yeah, we're waiting the task force. Yeah, we're waiting on the new data. We're not sure that the old data is any good. Right? And, of course, we know, right? They're gonna make it better. Now, speaking of better, so today they were supposed to have the start of the negotiations, the 60-day negotiations. It did not happen. Shocker, I know. But the reason given was Israel and Hezbollah were still fighting in Lebanon. This morning, we received word that they have all of a sudden miraculously agreed to a ceasefire that will start at 4 p.m. Oh, they do the thing. Why can't it just start right now? No, we got to wait till 4 p.m. so we can blow up some more stuff. So hopefully next week they'll start whatever it is they're claiming that they're doing. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back after the break. 800-951-0592. Let's take a quick look at the markets. The Dow's up 70. The S&P's up 80. The Nasdaq's up almost 500. The 10-year note, 446 on the 10-year note. Crude oil, it's up, but just a little bit, 25 cents, no big deal. As now there's, I don't know, I guess they'll have a meeting about something sometime. Gold's down 50, 41.50. $20 gold pieces, $42.95. Silver down $1, 64.50. U.S. Silver Eagles, right? Today, 15.05. And again, if you believe that the Fed is actually going to raise rates aggressively, right? Because that's, how we led it to believe. Don't buy. Don't buy today. I mean, I don't know. It's not like he calls me. But I'm still sticking to you will see a rate cut before the end of the year. But, don't take my word for it because, anything is possible. Anybody who buys that they don't have access to the best data, I mean, okay. Really? Sounds pretty doubtful. You know who else doubts it? J.P. Morgan. They came out yesterday, said that they did lower their full-year gold price forecast. They were at $5,700. Pretty good. They did lower it to 52. They got very specific. 52.43. $5,243 by the fourth quarter of this year. So I think they see exactly how I see it. Right? They're going to stall. Now, if the war, I think it's done. Right? We're not going to do. I don't even know what Iran would have to do for this to restart. If they just pretend to do something, I think it'll be fine. We're going to see the big inflation probably stay at bay, and we'll probably stay in the mid threes, right? We're in the fours right now. We'll probably stay in the mid threes. And I think that's going to be good enough. And who knows, maybe, hey, we get lucky. It'll start falling. We can say, oh, look at the chart. Like, remember, this is what they did last time. Right? Inflation was 4 or 5, right? It started to fall. And they started cutting rates way before 2%. They never got there. They're probably going to do it again. But I will say, yesterday we talked about how the Congress passed the ability now, clearing the way for the Federal Reserve to create a stable coin. But you can't create a central bank digital currency until 2030. Yeah. So, yeah. What nonsense is that, right? Either ban it outright or not. Obviously, they know. They've been told. That was on Wednesday, the same day they were making their big statement. Yesterday, the Fed wasted no time. They proposed that payment stablecoin issuers maintain written customer identification programs. And again, like I said, they're going to track everything. It will require so-called permitted payment stablecoin issuers. They're now calling them PPSIs to collect from each new customer legal name, date of birth, they say, or formation. I mean, this politically correct stuff is such nonsense. Date of birth or formation, physical address, and a government-issued identification number before you can open up an account. I don't know. Maybe they've never signed up for Coinbase or Kraken or Gemini. They must not have, because that's what they were already required. But in any event, they are setting this up to make it be just like you were a bank, a broker-dealer, a mutual fund, futures commissions, merchants, the same type regulation that the banks essentially have. By the way, they're getting a 60-day feedback time before this becomes the law of the land. Of course, that follows a wave of rulemaking enforced by the Genius Act. I will say that it was disappointing, right? That, again, the whole excitement around crypto was getting away from the banks and the Federal Reserve, right? And letting markets decide value and not having to deal with this Kevin Warsh nonsense. Oh, we had bad data. Oh, so what? Prices aren't going up, right? Apparently they're not, right? We're just all just confused. But we kind of knew this was going to happen, right? That they're going to go in there, try to regulate these. Now they're focusing now on stable coins, because right now they're kind of limiting the government to that one particular thing. I will say it, and I keep saying it. I keep telling you, this is what the money's going to be. Learn how to use it. For all of you that already, I know tons of you now, you have Coinbase accounts or Kraken accounts or Gemini accounts. Start putting money in it. You don't have to put a lot. Why? Well, you know what? You may want to sign up for ARM. You may want to get into Iskander. You may want to, I don't know, buy Bitcoin. I don't know. Maybe you want to buy Tether. But when you think about what is happening now, I mean, you guys, so many of you have learned. Well, I went to my bank and asked them to give me $10,000 cash. Next thing you know, I got the third degree. They treated me like I was robbing them. Listen, it's getting worse. People that have investments, like take Fidelity, right? Fidelity, great, super reputable company, right? Oh, Fidelity, yeah, that's a great company. That's what we think anyway. People want to withdraw some of their money. And it looks like Fidelity, if you're older, think about it, right? When you're younger, you don't have any money to withdraw, right? But now when you get old, they have started doing that. I've had multiple customers complain about this. They fill out the request, and nothing happens. They call, and they get something along the lines of, well, this has been flagged. Yep. For what? I don't know. What does flagged mean? Not really sure. Well, who can I talk to find out? I don't know. Right? Well, we'll let them, we'll get back to you. I'm not making this up, guys. This is facts. One particular client, Fidelity, called their kids. And their kids are, 40 years old, 50 years old, saying, hey, we don't think your parents should do this. You need to talk to them. It's so funny. These kids are like, dude, I don't need to talk to my parents. Right? It's their money, right? But this is happening everywhere. And I keep trying to tell you guys, any money you have in a financial institution, I don't care if it's a 401k, a bank, maybe it's an investment house, Charles Schwab, E-Trade, any of those things. The money's not yours. And I know, you get mad. It's not. Well, why aren't you giving me my money? Well, you're old. Yep, you're old. You don't know what you're doing. Right? Have you noticed they make a big deal about, at least, I don't know, once or twice a week you hear about somebody getting scammed and it's an old person. Right? It's minuscule, but it does happen. And it's unfortunate. But they make a really big deal. That's always on the news. Do you know why? It's cover. It's cover. Nah. We don't want... we have one client... I'm not kidding you now. It's been 8 weeks. And it's not even a lot of money. It's like $100,000. I mean, that's a lot of... I shouldn't say that. That's a lot of money. But, No. Nah, it's flagged. See, we've got to protect. And this is why you need to have gold and silver. This is why you have some money in a crypto exchange. I mean, they're gonna do the same thing as far as when you put the money in. But once they know who you are, they're like, okay, right? You've established yourself. It's insane. It really, really is. And now we need to believe that the data's wrong. And it's so funny. when I think about it. You know what? Because guess what? I don't know. The jobs data may be wrong. I don't know. Right? I know the inflation data is wrong. How do I know? Well, because they changed the way they counted it, right? Oh, wait. Ground beef's too expensive. Let's not count that. What isn't expensive? Let's count that instead. It's called substitution. Right? Yeah. Hey, cat food, right? We don't, what's the cheapest thing? Let's count that instead. Yeah. There's the setup, guys. Now you've seen it. What are you going to do about it? Nothing? Something? Have some of your assets in gold and silver. 800-951-0592. We'll be back after the break.
Yes, ma'am, back.
800-951-0592. $20 gold, $42.95. U.S. Silver Eagles, $15.05 a roll at 800-951-0592. It's crazy what has been coming out, and it's, well, okay, so it's Friday, right? I don't know, right? People are going to watch the USA and the World Cup, and, we got this deal with Iran and all this other great stuff out there. I want to ask you guys, what is the greatest threat to the American way of life? Well, according to the government, the greatest threat to the American way of life, the greatest threat to peace and prosperity in the world today is Xi Jinping and the Chinese. Yes, that's it. What? Yes. Apparently, they unanimously approved a voice vote for a resolution, Senate Resolution 444, condemning Xi Jinping for deceit, undermining prospects for peace and security, and orchestrating crimes against humanity. What if this is true? Right? Listen, I read that verbatim. I didn't make any of those words up. Why aren't we doing anything with the Chinese? Xi Jinping hates us. Listen, I'll say this, and I've said it all along. China's not our friend. But they're playing in the same pool as we are, right? They're in the banking system. Matter of fact, the bankers love China better than us. Why? Well, that nonsense they just said, oh, by the way, stable coin, yeah, you need this and that, and, So China's already got all that. It's so funny. I don't know how many people tell me every time they go to China, you don't do anything without your little phone and your little pass in China. You get out of line, they shut that off. Right? That's why we said, listen, we don't need camps anymore. Nah. We're just going to turn off your bank account till you're ready to get with the program. Communist China wants to destroy us. He is not a partner. Okay, I agree. He is not a competitor. I think he is. He is a brutal dictator leading a criminal organization that lies, cheats, steals, exploits slave labor, and commits genocide and crimes against humanity on an industrial scale. I don't know. Happy Friday. It's, wow. They blame him for covering up COVID. By the way, Tulsi Gabbard on her way out the door. We may do this today. I don't know. Yeah, the real cover-up of COVID, Anthony Fauci, and confirmed him lying to Congress. Is anything going to happen? No. So, yes, I do would like to point out that the number one issue affecting the United States way of life, peace and prosperity is Xi Jinping of China. So, yeah. What do we do with this stuff? Right? I mean, we already spend $1 trillion a year on defense, and we're going to spend way more than that. Matter of fact, we're getting ready. You know, the fiscal year's almost over. We've got the rest of June, right? June's already way over, almost 2/3 over. You got July, August, September. 2026, as far as fiscally for the federal government, is over in a little over 3 months. Now they want to spend $1.5 trillion. Maybe that's why the whole Iran thing. Well, now we got to, right? We used all kinds of stuff. Stockpiles are low. And China's the greatest threat to all mankind. Then why do we do business with them? Oh, that's right. It's all a bunch of nonsense. It really, I don't know. It's interesting when we think about all the stuff that's going on, and this is what, and apparently it was unanimous. Yeah, you know it's really bad when both sides agree that is the biggest threat out there. I wanted to share it with you because I wanted you guys to know, hey, this is what our government's wasting their time on, right? That is what they are wasting all of their time on, is coming up with these, I don't even know what to call it, right? Boogeyman, blaming somebody else for a reason not to have to be fiscally responsible in any way. They're not talking about, that was more important than figuring out a way to spend less money so Social Security doesn't go broke? I don't know. Maybe that's going to be the biggest threat. How about the debt? Is that not going to be the biggest threat? Have we not been paying attention to the bond market? Maybe the Congress doesn't pay attention to that stuff. I don't know what they pay attention to. They're probably trading SpaceX. Yes, I got it. What should we do today, guys? I know. Let's have a voice vote about how much we hate Xi Jinping. Yeah, that'll fix us. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back after the break. What a bunch of nonsense. Just a bunch of lies. Federal Reserve. No, we're not raising rate. We're going to have a task force. Right. It's the data's. Forget about that. You pay more. We'll fix it. Don't worry. Oh, by the way, Xi Jinping, he's Dr. Evil. I'll tell you what's next. This is what I think. This is where we're going to, you know what? We're going to start really looking at the Japanese yen and the carry trade. Japan had to intervene again. Now, of course, remember, they were threatened that, hey, if you guys keep intervening in your currency, we can no longer say you're a free-floating currency. Well, they did. What happened? Nothing. Kind of one of those arbitrary rules, right? We could do something, but we're not going to. But they had to raise rates this week. So everybody else, right? Oh, no, keep rates the same, task force or whatever. Japan forced to raise them. the yen carry trade. So right now, the Japanese yen, after all of this, by the way, over $70 billion now in intervention in just about the last 90 days. The yen going the wrong way. It's now at a 40-year low, 161.27. So remember, this 160, they've been trying to defend and defend and defend. Here's what happens. So why is this important, this 160 level, and now above this 160 level? And, of course, they tried to raise rates this week to try to stop it from going any further because they're like, gosh, we've already thrown $72 billion at it. It's not helping. It is causing the Japanese bond market to continue to rise. The yields continuing to rise. Now, right now, a Japanese 10-year only yields 2.65%. Okay? We're yielding 4.46. See, and this is what gives the carry trade breadth and legs. It's the difference. Because who in their right mind, right, thinks it's better to lend the Japanese money than the United States money? At least we have, still the most widely used currency in the world. I mean, nobody uses the yen outside of Japan and to do carry trade stuff. Here's the problem. That's a difference of 1.8 basis points, right? 18 basis points really. But it's not even 2%, right? When you look at the difference in the yield. That used to be 3%, at 1.4% difference between the yield on the Japanese 10-year and the yield on the U.S. 10-year. As this number shrinks, it causes huge problems with the yen carry trade. And today, and really it started yesterday, right? For the last week and a half, the Japanese haven't been able to get it back below 160. Then they raised rates. They had to come out and say they intervened again, and it still broke to the upside. We need to be very, very careful, because if the yen continues to go towards 200, that gap is going to get worse. And remember, and I'm worse, I mean smaller. And remember, how do you lose money in bonds? Yields going higher. So right now, that yen carry trade facing a lot of pressure. What's the breaking point? That's a good question. I don't know, right? If I was to guess, 150, maybe 120, 1% for sure, right? That would be, that'd be bad. It's going to be very interesting how long this can last. How long can we continue down this debt super cycle before something breaks? And that's really why, when we think about why is gold such a good hold right now? Why is the rest of the world? Think about, why are all these central banks buying more gold? Gold's down. Why are they buying more? A lot more. Matter of fact, records. Because the narrative to why it is down isn't the reality. Just like Kevin Warsh on Wednesday. Yes, I'm gonna get price stability. Rather than raise rates. Oh, no, well, it's the data. We got task force. Yeah. I hope you're in before it breaks. 800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour. Final segment coming up. 800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour. $20 gold pieces. Again, $42.95. Rolls of Silver Eagles at $15.05 at 800-951-0592. And, maybe the greatest threat to American way of life is whoever's selling the most treasuries is now the new great threat. That's what Japan's been doing. The sad part is Japan doesn't have any gold to sell, right? Right? What do they do? What do they do with their problem? Oh, well, let's throw some more yen at it, right? Here's 72 billion yen. Did that work? No. Oh, here's interest rate. Let's raise it. Did that work? No. Man, I wish we had some gold. Could you imagine if Japan had 2,000 or 3,000 metric tons of gold sitting in their vaults? They'd probably be just fine. We wouldn't be talking about a yen carry trade disaster. But it really doesn't matter. That's just one, right? That's just one. Doesn't matter. Pick one. We're in trouble. Europe's a mess. How about the UK? They're a mess. They elect a leader like every 5 minutes all of a sudden, right? Because nobody can fix the problem. What's the problem? Well, we've already created too much money. Okay. What's your solution? Print more money. That's it. And, of course, our government, let's see, we made some rules about stable coins, right? They get ready for that, right? The Fed can, look at, they did that Wednesday. The Fed immediately, the very next day, okay, here's rules, right? You got to have an ID. You got to give your fingerprints, your firstborn child, before you can buy a stable coin. And then the greatest threat to the American way of life is Xi Jinping. Oh, my Lord. Here you go. Let me give you the number. 800-951-0592. Continue to add to your portfolios because this is just nothing but that's, you know what? It's so funny. I'm watching all these banks. SocGen, JP Morgan, Bank of America, Wells, they're all saying, buy the dip in gold, right? Of course, they're the ones that help, gold fall, but it is hilarious because even they are like, yeah, okay, did they buy it? Did anyone even watch Kevin Warsh's speech? How many Americans do you think watched it? Right? I don't even know. Do you think even 1 million people? I don't even think 1 million people watched it. There's 340 million people in this country. I would venture to say that over 300 million people don't even know the name. They don't even know who this clown is. More or less if he gave a speech on Wednesday.
More than 300 million. There's more than 300.
Right.
I don't even know if 1 million Americans.
I'm trying to be generous.
I think only 1 million Americans might know who the Fed chief is. That's overestimating.
800-951-0592. It's Friday, baby.